Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently standing in the Firmament in Ishgard, in front of Odilon and Ehll Tou, to start another custom delivery for Ehll Tou. Oh, crafter, my crafter. I've been waiting for you. Who better to tell of my studies than the very woman who set me on the course of enlightenment? My knowledge of mankind's history has grown by leaps and bounds, in no small part thanks to Odilon's expert instruction. Ehll Tou's too kind. She has taught me so much of dragonkind in turn that I could hardly call myself a teacher in this arrangement. In fact, the time may soon come to put ink to parchment and begin my chronicles. And we all wait for a day with bated breath. Odilon has not been my only teacher. The city itself has lessons abound for those who would observe them. Seeing its splendor with my own eyes has made clear one inalienable difference between man and dragon. Okay. I speak, of course, of your kind's love for tinkering, building, and crafting. And what a wonderful thing it is to behold. When dragons are wont to tear down obstacles with fang and claw, you tear them down with hammer and chisel, or else find an ingenious way around them entirely. By using tools tailored to specific tasks, you overcome your natural deficiencies. One tool will be used to wrest precious materials from the earth, another to transform them into something greater than the sum of its parts. I find the whole process rather fascinating. When I gaze upon the towering spires of the city, I imagine a roost built with my own claws, even larger than the one my sire calls home. I'm eager to see my dream realized as quickly as possible, but Odilon advises against rushing into such an endeavor unprepared. He claims that to do so would lead to abject failure and possibly personal injury. You, however, are an experienced artisan, and I would be honored if you were to take me under your wing and teach me the art of making. I swear to be a dutiful study, and even should this day pass into the next, I won't rest until I've mastered even the most esoteric of skills. Well then, I believe we have an arrangement. I can start right this moment, if it pleases you. Well, not quite so fast. Now, Ehll Tou, you know as well as anyone how busy our friend is, and I also fear you may have misjudged us how long it takes to truly become a master craftsman. You mean it would take more than a day? I knew it, of course. I only hoped against hope that she had no appointments to save the world for the foreseeable future. Alas, my enthusiasm may have gotten the better of me. Don't fret, Ehll Tou. She may still be able to help in some capacity. Perhaps you could introduce us to a craft with both the time and inclination to teach? I expected one of the many artisans around the firmament would be willing to lend us their expertise. Although you are in a far better position to judge their suitability than either of us, we shall look forward to meeting our mentor-to-be. If it's not too much trouble, perhaps you could introduce Ehll Tou and I to a crafter who is willing to pass down my knowledge. Ehll Tou holds your opinion in high regard, and I'm sure she would take to any teacher who had your seal of approval. So... a cheerful crafter. Say again, the scrawny little dragonling wants to craft. Whatever's next. As much as the notion of having a dragon as a protege piques my interest, however, my specialty is working metal. Great big slabs of it. Were she older, maybe there'd be a place for her, but as it stands, she'd be more a hindrance than a help. Oblivious Gatherer. Oh, a crafter! My apologies, but I'm more inclined to gathering what bounty the earth has to offer. I leave it to others to mold that bounty into what they will. I'd love to introduce you to someone who might be of help, but I'm afraid my work here is endless. I'm blind, as usual. An engineer. I know the dragonet you speak of. I've seen her flitting about House Hallenard from time to time. Quite the inquisitive one, if I recall. So she wants to learn the fine art of crafting, does she? I've heard strange things in my time, but few as bizarre as that. I'm sure I'd kick myself later if I passed up this opportunity, so I reckon I could find time between projects to teach her a thing or two. Tell her I speak with her after I've finished up here. Will you? And the hero is returned. So have you found my teacher? Whose sharp eyes and steady hand will guide me on the path to mastery? Ah, such great expectations I must meet. While I assure you my hunt is steady, the sharpness of my eye is very much a matter of conjecture. Nevertheless, if it's crafting you wish to learn, I'm your man. Although I can't say I've ever had the honor of teaching a dragon before. And what, I'm Arvid, at your service. I'm here in the Firmament on assignment from the Sky Steel Manufactory, and I dare say I have a few nuggets of wisdom knocking around my head, what are worth passing around. It's the young who should shoulder the burden of building the future after all. Now, crafters come in all sorts, from cooks to weavers to smiths. Have you given any thought of where you want to focus your energies? Focus? Can't I learn everything? Tell us, Desiree, where should an aspiring artisan begin? I mean... Be it baking a cake or raising a castle, one must first look to their tools. Ah, spoken like a true professional. 'Tis true that an essential part of any project is selecting the right tools for the job. However, there's a step that comes even before that. For now, let's start with tools required to gather our own materials. Once you have the right equipment and supplies, there's nothing you can't make with enough elbow grease. Oh, how splendid it is to have a guiding hand. There's no telling how long it would have taken all to learn I decide to begin had we been left to our own devices. Very well, gathering is where we shall pour our utmost efforts. Mayhap when I'm a seasoned artisan in my own right, I'll take it upon myself to teach my kin as I was taught. Now wouldn't that be a sight to see? I dare say there has never been a dragon who has learned a trade, let alone one who has passed such skills on to the next generation. Indeed, you may be correct on that account. The other dragons will be flabbergasted by the wonders I create. Of course, I don't plan on taking all the credit. It seems to me that mankind's most culturally significant works are those that result from collaboration, of people working together to make something greater than they could have alone. To that end, I must study and learn from the works of others, and even though you are too busy with your heroics to teach me daily, I would much appreciate if you could come by from time to time and offer what knowledge you can. That I can do. Magnificent. I knew your generosity would match the greatness of your deeds. Well then, let's get your education started off on the right foot, huh? You can spy tradesmen of all sorts plying their trade in the new nest. I reckon you could certainly do worse than to learn a couple of tricks from them. The place is practically a second home to young outer London eye. Allow me to lead the way. Who's that? Is she here to help us? I remember going to the new nest with Master Marcelor when I first arrived in the city. This here is Anna, and we have her and the House of Splendors to thank for supplying the Firmament with quality materials at incredibly low prices. Suspiciously so, in fact. Are you implying there's some ulterior motive behind our generosity? Why, certainly not. I'm here at the behest of my organization to aid Ishgard in its fledgling days as an allied nation. We are driven as much by philanthropy as we are by profit, I can assure you. Excuse me, Miss Buzz, are you a craftsman by any chance? I'm afraid, my adorable little dragonet, that my hands are entirely too clumsy to make aught aside from my morning tea. The 12 have seen fit to bless me with a sharp mind for trade, however, and so here I am. And it's precisely why we've come. Ehll Tou has it in her head to learn a trade or two, and we are here to set her on the right path. To that end, I would ask that you provide us with materials, and perhaps any counsel you might afford a young novice. It would be my pleasure. Perhaps in return she could tell me about the rarities and the relics dragons keep in their lairs. I sense a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity that come before me. And if business in the firmament grows as much as my intuition says it will, this might be just what I require to turn a stream of gil into a veritable flood of riches. Consider me at your complete disposal. Say the word and I shall procure whatever you may need. How generous of you. You have our thanks, Miss Anna. Anything to foster the next generation of builders and tinkerers, my boy. As for the current generation, well, I suppose the house could bear to part with a few scrips in return for guiding our dragonet friend on her journey to mastery. We can't say no to an offer like that, can we? Well then, now that we're all acquainted, let's head back to St. Royale's dice. The House of Splendors, yeah. With you and Arvid at her side, I'm sure Ehll Tou's dream will become a reality. That Anna's quite the shrewd businesswoman, but she's true to her word, I know that much. With Master Arvid and Master Desiree guiding us, I'm sure we'll be raising fortresses and forging dazzling suits of armor in no time at all. Let's keep our ambitions manageable for the time being, shall we? Our first task is the construction of tools that'll fit snugly in those claws of yours. Desiree, I trust you can help with that. In the meantime, I have work of my own to attend to. If there's aught you need, you know where I am. Before I depart, however, I'll leave you with an assignment. Inspect everything Desiree does with diligence. A discerning eye is a tool that will outlast all others. Yes, Master Arvid. I'll give Desiree's work the price over. Custom deliveries unlocked. Ehll Tou. Even the most masterful works of crafting are a common sight to us who grew up in Ishgard, but to a dragon? I imagine even a hawker's stall is something to behold. Would that I could see the world from their eyes. Here to help us make a tool fit for dragons? The classical stuff for custom deliveries. Gathering tools, gathering tool paraphernalia, and hoplite. Okay, back again. So, Ehll Tou, let's turn in some stuff. Yeah, I know how turning in items works. Click the item fitting to your job. Hand over. Now what do we have here? A shell this hard is like to sunder even the densest of stone. Just a matter of precious materials we could unearth with this. Oh, you've certainly outdone yourself this time. Even Master Arvid might be hard-pressed to produce such fine work. Yeah, that was the hoplite, the fish, or the shellfish. Stuff. So this is what we used to make tools for gathering. But what are the tools you use to gather these materials? Are there tools made to gather materials used to make tools that gather materials? Ah, my head hurts. Oh my, you certainly outdone yourself. Well, this is like Minecraft. You start with some basic tools you can make without much effort, and then bit by bit you upgrade to better tools that take more effort to produce. So this is what you need to make tools for gathering. Truth be told, I struggle to envision how all these parts fit together, but I suppose grasping that is the first of many steps. Oh, I may well be the first dragon to make her own tools. The supplies truly have been a godsend, hero. I'd say we have more than enough for me to begin learning the fine art of gathering in earnest. Let's go speak with Master Arvid at once. Ah, it is good to see you. I've been meaning to thank you for all your help with Ehll Tou's education. An education which is off to a splendid start, I must say. I believe that I have developed a keen sense for the finer parts of gathering, which Master Arvid says is the basis of all crafting. But even for gathering you must have tools, and to make those tools you must gather materials, and to gather those materials you must have more tools? It's tools all the way down, isn't it? Or is it materials? No matter, it's as much a fool's errand as trying to guess if a dragon came before the egg. If there's one fact to be gleaned from that conundrum, however, is that crafting and gathering are inextricably linked. Indeed, you are correct. Without one trait, the other dies, and vice versa. That's precisely why I aim to see you proficient at both before our time together is done. To that end, I devised something especially for those tiny claws of yours. An Ehll Tou-sized pickaxe. You take it. What do you think? It's perfect. And a backpack. With this in claw, you'd look right at home among the rest of the workers. I see now that even though you wingless ones lack claws and fangs, you have the strength to shatter stone and sunder earth. I have an inkling now of how powerful the first of you to wield a pickaxe felt. For something so small and light, it's remarkably sturdy. Even I could swing it all day without tiring. The hidden treasures of the world shall be mine. This is all I could have hoped for and more. Thank you, Master Arvid. All I did was put the parts together. With our friend did all the hard work. Actually, Desiree bought so many materials that are enough to make a few more pickaxes. Perhaps you could give them to your dragon friends? Yes, Master Arvid. I shall take what I can and leave at once. Whoosh. Ehll Tou is pleased with your efforts. She now considers you a crafting connoisseur. All that remains to wait for the fruits of her labor. Welcome back, Ehll Tou. How was it? I'm sure the other dragons found your new tools to be quite fascinating. Well, you see, I'm afraid it wasn't quite like that. The dragonets were delighted to see what I brought, of course. The elder dragons, however, practically flew into a rage, haranguing the younger ones and insisted that such tools are contrary to a dragon's very nature.
Oh, I see.
Although it's far from the enthusiastic reception I had envisioned, I still believe that the prejudices of our past will, they must give way to new ways of thinking if we are to coexist peacefully with these guardians.
Yep.
And I know for certain there are votes among the other dragonets who are of the same mind. I must continue to persevere, as my efforts so far would have been for naught.
Indeed, the other dragons will come around in time, I'm sure. Even the most cantankerous of a lot. Perhaps you should take a different tack. The dragons might be more amenable to something that was crafted by one of their own, namely you.
What a marvelous suggestion, Ortolong. But there's still a question of what I might craft. Something eye-catching unlike anything they've seen before?
In that case, why not try your hand at weaving? The materials are lightweight and the tools are small enough for even you to use deftly. Clothing designed for dragons would be especially novel, which I'm sure many of them would find interesting.
That's a wonderful idea. I cannot wait to get started.
That depends on our friend here. I need some help procuring the materials, if it's not too much trouble. I'll give you a list of what we need, while I take care of the rest.
Wait, in the meantime, I shall give thought to what exactly I might weave.
Satisfaction guaranteed Ehll Tou. Achievement unlocked. And the deliveries list has been updated. However, as with all custom deliveries, you can only turn in 6 items per character per week, and for all future rank ups, we need 6 items. So I will do this off screen. We see each other next week, or for you in a moment. And another week with Ehll Tou. Have you come to help us weave garments befitting an artisan? Yeah, weaving components.
Master Arvid explained to me that since we dragons are covered in tough scales, we have no need to fear needles prickling us. My claws are still a bit too clumsy for delicate work, but I feel that weaving might very well be my calling. Oh my, you've certainly outdone yourself this time. Even Master Arvid might be hard-pressed to produce such cranking work.
So what else do we have? Paraphonia.
Weaving is an intricate art indeed, wouldn't you say? From plants we make fibrous strings and we spin those into yarn. When that yarn is knitted into... it's enough to get you all tangled up.
And a hookfish.
Careful now. Care not to prick yourself on these spines. Even what Master Arvid told me is true, when they are sharp as knives. They will, however, make perfect needles for weaving of all sorts. I wonder how many drops of blood were spilled in anger before someone thought to make this dangerous fish into a tool. If we don't begin my education in weaving soon, I fear we may run out of room to store all the materials you delivered. I must tell Master Arvid. You wouldn't mind watching over the supplies while I'm gone, will you?
Ah, the woman of Yahweh arrives. My thanks for furnishing us with the weaving supplies we requested. I took the liberty of arranging the rest of what we need, so I believe we're well prepared to begin our next lesson. What say you, Ehll Tou? We have the materials and we have the tools. Do you have a desire to learn?
Yes, of course, Master Arvid. Teach me all that you know. You too, Master Desiree.
I know you'll give it your all, Ehll Tou. Crafting successful.
Behold, my very first items of clothing, sewn by my own claws. Have you ever seen a dragon more dashing? My design took inspiration from Master Arvid's cap, in case you hadn't noticed. Imitation is the highest form of flattery indeed. Truth be told, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that cap was sewn by a seasoned weaver.
It looks good. Yes, very impressive. Never in my life have I imagined a dragon donning a cap, let alone crafting one.
Ah.
How does it hold on your head?
The labor was painstaking, and I must admit I contemplated giving up more than once. However, now that the work is done, I feel a sense of accomplishment unequaled by aught else. So this is why you wingless ones pursue the art of creation. I simply must teach the other dragonets what I learned. I'm certain there are many and more who would be willing to bring their own ideas to life. I simply must show my friends of the churning mists. If they show sufficient interest, perhaps I will weave caps for them to wear too.
Take care, Ehll Tou, and give your brothers and sisters my regards. Satisfaction up. Ehll Tou is delighted with your efforts. She now considers you a talented teacher. All that remains is to wait for the fruits of her labor. I'd forgotten just how dapper you look in your new accoutrements. I trust your friends up in the clouds were just as taken with your new appearance?
Indeed they were, particularly the dragons that are of age with me. They likened it to being able to change the color of their scales at will. I invited them to return to the Firmament, but it seems they're still hesitant to mingle with people. I can't blame them, I suppose.
Because Ehll Tou is flapping up and down, and my character's trying to follow her gaze, her eyes, yeah? The light bobbing in the head constantly.
Yet not for you, I too might have given up on my journey and returned to the clouds, wondering what may have been. I learned to overcome my fear of your kind. If I could say the same of my kin.
Are you sure you're not still frightened?
Frightened me? Why, of course not. I dare say you three, and everyone else I've met here besides, are kinder and more helpful than many dragons I know. If only the others could see what I see.
From where I'm standing, it seems clear that you must find a way to allay their fears. Show them that crafting, and thereby your friendship with those that teach it to you, is something that enriches, not harms.
Yes, Master Arvid, you're brilliant. I shall do precisely that. While my new garments may be fashionable, I could never hope to make one for every dragon with churning mists. There may be another way to their hearts.
What are you thinking, Ehll Tou?
It's also obvious now that I thought of it. I speak, of course, of that favorite pastime of man and dragon alike, eating. When first I arrived in Ishgard, I was overwhelmed with smells wafting from the marketplace. So many spices and aromas mixing together set my mouth so watering as it never had before. Perhaps I can bring that experience to my kin.
Ah, that's a capital idea. Every creature needs to eat, but not all have had the pleasure of fine dining. It seems the matter is settled then. Desiree, let's take care of the supplies Ehll Tou will need to ready this feast. Ehll Tou and I will put our heads together and decide which foods best suit the dragon's palate.
I already have several ideas.
Alright, but we take care of that next week. Okay, and we have another week. Ehll Tou.
Our need for tears is ever growing, and I trust you've bought something that will help answer that need.
Cloudweed.
Master Arvid tells me the ocean waters are teeming with plants, but are essential to a range of dishes. I would never have imagined that within those depths lay the secret to bringing out flavors in even the most mundane meals.
Oceans? Well, I guess the Sea of Cloud, if you want to call it an ocean. Yeah.
Oh my, you've certainly outdone yourself this time. Even Master Abed would be hard-pressed to produce such fine work. I'm quite a bit weaker than my full-grown brethren and possessed of ungainly claws besides. As such, when considering which materials to use, you must give special consideration to her weight and size.
And it's great.
So, this is what I used to make culinary delicacies. Up until now I thought cooking was little more than a matter of roasting meat until blackened. But I see now that it's not the case. I shall treat this tool with the utmost care.
Oh, you certainly outdone yourself this time.
At last, we have everything we need to make tools worthy of the finest stubborn in Ishgard. I must hurry to inform Master David. My stomach is rumbling already at the thought of how we might put those tools to use.
You've been hard at work, haven't you? With all the time your industrious efforts have saved us, I've taken it upon myself to make all the tools we need for our next step. Cooking. Take these, Ehll Tou.
Many thanks, Master David. Well, do excuse me.
I dare say you'll fit right in along the chefs of a Forgotten Night. You now hold two of the most useful tools for any chef, a skillet for frying and a hatchet for gathering your own ingredients. Of course, you also need seasoning and myriad other small utensils. Oh, and flame, of course. Anyway, I've arranged everything for you, so take a good look and remember what you see. Finally, we've arrived at cooking. Since we began, I've been imagining the feast I will prepare for the other dragons. It should be like nothing we've ever tasted before. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Perhaps more so than any other form of crafting, cooking relies on a firm grasp of the fundamentals. You must practice them until they come to you as naturally as breathing.
Well, that means the more I practice, the more I get to eat, yes? I should be happy to agree to such an arrangement.
Good, but a word of warning. You may find it hard to stomach your own cooking in the beginning. Now let's visit Anna and get ourselves some birch sap. Making syrup from that is one of the simplest and most delicious recipes a budding chef can know. And what's more, be they low or highborn, not a soul of Ishgard can say no to a dollop of it. If our first go, as it turns out, alright, make sure to share some with Ortelon. Ehll Tou's journey has been long indeed, and it seems she still has a ways to go. Does every crafter go through the hardships she has? Pretty much, yeah. I've had this heartwarming news. Truth be told, I had some doubts as to whether or not she was suited for this, but I see now that she's in good company, as am I. Speaking of which, Ehll Tou has told me much and more of her kin, and I've taken painstaking notes every step of the way. I feel the day I can begin writing my chronicles is fast approaching. Satisfaction up. Ehll Tou is overjoyed with her effort. She now considers you a skillful supervisor. All that remains is to wait for the fruits of her labor.
Ortelon, taste the syrup I made. I dare say it's indistinguishable from that produced by a seasoned chef.
This is delicious. You have a knack for this, Ehll Tou. I had the same thought. You can have more later. But for now, let's concentrate on the task in front of us. Keep well away from the jar. I know if you stuck your hand inside. Speaking of tasks, have you two come up with any ideas regarding what to serve as this feast of yours? Yes, eventually. I suggested one of my favorites, liver cheese sandwiches. They're small enough that even a young dragon like Ehll Tou can eat them easily, and the sandwich is so much more of a novelty than a piece of bread. But then Ehll Tou brought up a good point. dragons aren't used to rich flavors, so liver cheese might be off-putting to some. In the end, we decided to go with a lightly seasoned fish for our filling. Perhaps one day dragons will come to appreciate the wonders of liver cheese, but for now I'm confident we can make a sandwich that will be the talk of the churning mists. You certainly put a lot of consideration into this. Impressive, lad. And you too, Ehll Tou. It seems all that's left is to gather the proper ingredients then.
And that's where you come in, Desiree. We'll wait here and further discuss how we might make this sandwich one to remember.
The custom deliveries list for Ehll Tou has been updated. But we will continue this next time. Or for you in a moment. Alright, we are back with another week. Time to turn in stuff. My next project shall be a dish that will have even the most discerning dragon gourmet slavering for more. Probably aid me in any way you can. Put a herring. Since we're making food, a fish should be nice.
A proper seasoning of food is an art I must master, and to that end, young Audilon had suggested we start with fish. I see no reason to object. Fish are among my favorite delicacies. Yes, my mouth is watering. Just imagine what I might make with these ingredients. The other dragons may very well be compelled to travel all the way to Ishtar just to get one more bite.
So, what other ingredients do we have?
With this, I'm one inch closer to completing my masterpiece, a dish fit for dragons. The others are sure to go wild over it, and I dare say it would take all I have not to take a bite of freedom for myself. Yes, my mouth is watching. Just imagine what I might make with these ingredients. What went through the mind of the first person who took all these ingredients and threw them in a pot? I expect a fair amount of trial and error was involved, but the results certainly are delicious. Perhaps one day a recipe of my own creation will be handed down to others. Fine work as always, hero. With this, I have more than enough ingredients to begin my culinary masterpiece. A dish that is certain to have every dragon in the churning mist clamoring for more. Of course, you're more than welcome to lend a helping hand if you so wish.
Thanks to you, Ehll Tou is ready to share the product of her hard work with her dragon friends. I'd say they're in for quite the treat. I gathered a few ingredients of my own, and together with what you've brought, we've made sandwiches using Kaiser rolls. I've tasted them myself, and I've never had any better. Dragons might find this type of food a bit puzzling at first, but I'm sure the taste will be to her liking. Ehll Tou, you had best get to it while it's still fresh.
Yes, of course.
Ehll Tou, are you alright?
Yes, quite alright, thank you. Anyway, I must be off at once. I would hate for the bread to stale and the meat to dry. Farewell!
Ehll Tou could not be happier with your efforts. She now considers you a cultivated crafter. Through your efforts, Ehll Tou has gained a deeper understanding of mankind and fostered her love for crafting. It seems, however, that Audilon has a different sort of favor to ask. A new quest continuing the story of Ehll Tou's efforts to learn crafting is now available from Ehll Tou. Or probably from Audilon, as we just heard. Upon completion of a custom deliveries list will update. No, Ehll Tou is here again.
At last, my culinary masterpiece is ready to be shared with my kin. Thanks to the guidance of my capable teachers, I believe I've cooked up something that will have even the most stubborn among them clamoring for more. Doubtless even now they are eagerly awaiting my arrival. The whispers of what I might bring filling the charming midst of expectations. I'd best leave at once. There are few things more unpleasant than hungry dragons.
Safe travels, Ehll Tou.
I'm so dizzy. Wings aching now. I must move forward before the food cools and with it, the steam of my kin.
Ehll Tou, is something matter?
Not at all. In fact, I'm positively effervescent. Now wait right here. I'll be back before you've even realized I've gone.
Huh. It shouldn't have taken this long. You're right. How long did we wait? Days? If you fed every dragon in the churning mists, it should take a while. Come to think of it, Ehll Tou was acting rather strangely before she departed. Perhaps we should ask Master Arvid for counsel. He seems to have the solution for every problem. Oh, I hope nothing untoward has happened. I stay here and keep watch for Ehll Tou. I pray you, Master Arvid, can get to the bottom of this. Custom deliveries cannot be made while this quest is in progress. They become available again once the quest is completed. Good evening. What brings you here? Ehll Tou is away awfully long. But you mentioned I haven't seen Ehll Tou since she left with her delivery. You're certain she hasn't returned? I meant to give her this hammer I made as a little reward for her efforts. Considering how hard she's been working, I wouldn't be surprised if just gone for a leisurely stroll. Or fly, I suppose. A flit? Anyway, she is a dragon, albeit a tiny one. Twice we would be fools to think we understand even a fraction of what's going on in her head. I'm sure she will return on her own time. Still, if you must go looking for her, take this hammer. I have no doubt her eagerness to learn how to use it would send her back here as fast as her little wings can carry her. She often goes on at length about her dragonet friends at this place called XIV, somewhere in the churning mists. If that rings a bell to you, I reckon it might be a good place to start. So, we go to XIV. Endearing Dragonet. Hello, my friend. I'm looking for Ehll Tou.
Oh, is it who I think it is? The very hero who triumphed over Nidhogg and brought peace between our kinds? From all the stories Ehll Tou has told you, I expected a bit more... grandeur? I suppose appearances come second when you spend your days working with your claws. Or hands, rather. Nevertheless, I must thank you for taking the time to pass down such refined arts to my friend. We do so enjoy seeing what she brings.
Do you know where she is?
You're looking for her. She visited friends not far from here. Gushing over that, what was it, cooking of hers? Delectable stuff, that. To think there was more to food than scorching and stomping. Considering the distance you've traveled, I'm terribly sorry to say that she specifically requested not to let anyone from the surface see her until she was ready. She was quite insistent, in fact. Still, I'm sure she would be delighted to receive that deadly-looking trinket of yours. What did you call it? A hammer? It looks far too heavy for me to wield myself, but I should be able to carry it without dropping it. That is, unless I choose to drop it. Those muggles who've been pestering me are in need of some long overdue comeuppance. Anyway, I shall let her know you've arrived. But let me warn you that it may be some time until she's willing to show herself.
have a hammer.
So this one of those tools your wingless ones also found out. Are all of them as complex as this one? It shall be safe in my keeping, I assure you. I wouldn't have the slightest idea how to use it even if I wanted. Now wait here, they shall return. When, however, I cannot say.
Miss Klinger, there you are! Surprised to see us, I take it. Young Odilon got it in his head to come searching for Ehll Tou. It wasn't a thing I could say to sway him. Try as I might to distract him with work, somehow he managed to book us a trip across the sea of clouds. It's a wonder we caught up to you, all things considered. Just how long have you been waiting here? Where's she, Miss Klinger? Where's Ehll Tou? She is around here somewhere, but specifically asked not to see us. What? Why wouldn't she want to see us? That doesn't make any sense. Ehll Tou, can you hear me? Where are you?
Oh shush, you make something bigger than a dragonet with all that shouting.
That scarf? That hat with Ehll Tou, is that you?
I knew you would recognize me. Still, an explanation may be in order. You see, a dragon's growth is dictated by force, both internal and external. Sometimes this growth can be quite dramatic, as you can plainly see. Truth be told, I've been feeling out of sorts lately, but now I see that discomfort was merely the new me trying to break free. And now here she is, a dragon reborn.
Oh, I'm so glad you're alright. More than alright, by the looks of things.
This new tool is wonderful. It's as if Master Arvid knew I was on the brink of incredible change. Had I received this hammer but a day earlier, I would have held it clumsy in my tiny claws. Now, however, it feels like an extension of my very body. My mind is brimming with the possibilities of what I might craft next. Your growth is unlike aught I have seen before. Such a spectacular transformation has already made you a topic of much discussion among dragonkind. And I imagine not a small amount of jealousy.
I see. See? What did I tell you to? There was no need for all that fretting and fuzzing. Still, if not for young Odilon's concern, who knows if I would have ever set foot in the churning mists.
I apologize for causing undue worry, but I pray you understand how embarrassing it would have been if anyone saw me before I was ready. And now you are the first to behold a dragon not warped by conflict and strife, but nourished by peace and fellowship. Well, not the first, surely. Only the first in quite some time. When man and dragon lived in harmony, maturation like mine may have been more common.
I think there may be something to that, Ehll Tou. If we ask around, we may just find the dragon with stories of those halcyon days. At the very least, it would be a chance to make new friends among the clouds. And we can start with our present company. I'd be eager to hear of your life here.
Me? Why, I would be delighted, although I have seen scarcely more summers than Ehll Tou. She has regaled me with many tales of her wingless ones that build and tinker. Far from the primitive brutes I had believed they were, the stories told of an inventive and adventurous people. While I thought the stories fanciful, I now see that if anything, they weren't fanciful enough. Maybe I too shall journey down below the clouds and live among mankind for a time, and try my claws with this crafting of yours.
You'd be more than welcome.
Indeed. Is this not what we set out to accomplish from the onset? To bring man and dragon closer, one step at a time? I believe we are well on our way. I should do my part by spreading the word far and wide. Surely I'm not the only dragon interested in following Ehll Tou's path. The more the merrier. I suppose we should return with haste and tell Lord Francis to expect a few more visitors in Ishgard. Even one so level-headed as he may be caught off guard by a sudden influx of dragons.
Okay, let's return to the Firmament. I must confess, I had my doubts when I first agreed to this arrangement, but Ehll Tou and young Ortolan have proven more resourceful than I gave him credit for. Welcome back.
Of course, Klingor deserves her share of the credit as well. But not for your tutelage, I would not have grown as I have, and in doing so finally compel my friends to come mingle with the men and women of Ishgard. Lord Francis was most understanding when we informed him of what we had planned. He gave his word to ensure that none of the less savory elements of the city would bring harm to its new visitors. Even now he is working to inform those with authority in Ishgard to welcome my brothers and sisters. Before long the sight of wings in the sky will fill the hearts of men not with dread, but with elation.
The industriousness of these two never fails to impress. We might do well to learn from them, huh? Sounds like that.
I would also like to thank Ortolan. Had he not come to the Charming Mists, the idea of befriending our erstwhile nemesis maybe have remained naught but an idle fancy for the other dragons. But thanks to his affable nature, the first spark of curiosity has been struck in their hearts.
You're too kind, Ehll Tou. I, for one, can't wait to see the place alive with the sound of dragons and men conversing in good faith. And with one endeavor having reached a satisfactory conclusion, I believe it may be time to begin another. My time spent with Ehll Tou has provided me with more than enough notes to begin my chronicles, but I must first compile and arrange them. Then you'd best begin sooner rather than later, lad. Once you've finished, bring it to the manufacturer and I'll see about producing some illustrations to give your book a little flair.
Now, isn't that a marvelous idea? You can fill the book with pictures so that even dragons who cannot read your letters can understand. Oh, what harmonious songs such a work could inspire.
Songs, perhaps, that can be sung in unison. In fact, I believe I may have my title, An Ode to Unity. Man and dragon shall come to a deeper understanding and, I hope, appreciation of the other by reading it. Not bad, lad. Not bad at all. Well then, it sounds to me we've quite a lot of work ahead of us. I'd best get started. Yo.
Desiree, might I trouble you to assist Master Ortolan in the completion of his chronicle? I can think of nary a more ambitious work. This book may prove to be the very foundation of long-lasting peace. For my part, I shall continue making deliveries to the Charming Mists, that my brothers and sisters there might be enticed to join their brethren here.
Future requests will be selected at random from all those you've seen thus far. Plus a new set. Namely, materials for this book he's writing. Note that printing essentials, printing materials, and ink shells will earn you particular handsome rewards. A new quest is available from Ortolan. So the dragons look at the statue of Ehll Tou. Miss Klingor, there you are. Ehll Tou and I have been thinking about how we can repay you for all your help. After much deliberation, we decided to ask Master Arvid to help us craft a bespoke item just for you. I hope he hasn't spoiled the surprise. When last we spoke, he said the project was nearing completion. Perhaps he's finished now? Oh, I do hope you like it. Alright, what do we get? Ah, welcome. I take it you've spoken with Ortilon, man. Well, here you go. Ehll Tou was most insistent I designed this horn just so. Blown it and the little dragon will fly to your side wheresoever you may be. Although I suppose you can't call her little anymore, eh? Tis only natural that as she grows, her desire to see more of the world would grow as well. That's why she wanted you to have this. Show her every corner of a civilized world and introduce her to people of all sorts. She'd a wide breadth of knowledge if she means to paint her kin the full picture of our kind. When I first agreed to help Ehll Tou, I had no inkling I might be contributing to something much larger than myself. Whatever comes of her efforts in the end, I must say I'm honored to have played my small part in it. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, friend. And we get the Ehll Tou whistle, with which we get Ehll Tou as a mount. Alright. But that shall be it for this, this custom livery and this episode. Until next time, I'm Mace and don't get lost.